Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Supporting Black Authors Book Club. I am your host, Dr. Deborah Davis, coming to you live from Freehold, New Jersey, where I do every Wednesday night with my lovely co-host, Dr. Angela Vett William Hawkins. Hello.
Hello.
So we're going to be doing something a little different tonight. And instead of me being the interview along with my co-host is going to interview me.
Woo! It's going to be a good one.
For my book titled My Daddy, the Devil, and Me.
Woo! Wow.
I turn it over to my co-host.
Wow. Let me tell you, when I read the book, I just like I'm still in awe because and I read it, when she first wrote the book years ago, but I'm still my mouth is just still like how who I mean, you survived this, Dr. Deborah, can you just tell the listeners what inspired the title?
Oh, the title. Okay. So if you remember, there was a story, a true story of the girl in the basement.
Mhm.
And she lived in Austria, and her father had her captive in the basement for 20 years, and he impregnated her. I think she had like 7 babies. I saw
Right,
that,
right,
and I was watching it, and it was in 2009, and
right,
that's when the spirit said, write the book. And I
right,
said, well, what is the title? And he said, my daddy, the devil, and me. I had to include myself.
right.
We'll get to why I included the devil.
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
But
okay.
that's what inspired it. When I saw that it wasn't just me,
Right.
that other people were going through some similar things that I was going through. And
Oh,
I felt that I could come out and write the book. Good evening,
wow.
Dr. Smith.
Good evening, Dr. Tenario Smith. Good
Good
evening,
evening,
Derek Hawkins.
Derek.
Yeah,
Hi,
good,
Katrina.
Katrina. How are we? Listen, they are coming in. They want to
Yes,
hear
yes, the
this
switchboard is
story.
lighting up.
They want to hear this juicy story.
Good
So
evening, Valerie. Good evening, Valerie. I'm trying to say hi.
good. Good evening, Valerie. How
Good
are
evening.
you? Good
Good
evening,
evening,
D.
Dee.
Thomas.
Good
How are
evening.
you?
How y'all doing? How's everybody? So,
So, Dr. Deborah Davis, let's talk more about this. Your dad. Did you live in a home, with your dad and your mom together? I mean, were they married? Like, just tell us.
that's a good question. No, I had a stepfather. I was being raised by a stepfather, and he was strict. We were living on the army bases. I was sheltered, spoiled, and my mother used to talk to me a little bit about my father because I would ask questions. And I only
Right.
had one picture of him, and it was a
Hmm.
prison picture. And I would
Right.
compare my nose to his nose, and I really wanted to know him,
Right.
because
Right.
he didn't live in the home, and I wanted to know him. And I would always tell my stepfather, "You're not my father." You know how
Wow.
step
Wow.
kids would say
Wow.
things, and that was a good man. My
Wow.
stepfather, he was a very, very good father.
Wow.
He
Wow.
raised us, and we didn't want for anything. We didn't
Wow.
want for anything.
Wow.
But my mother would often tell me that my daddy was no good, but I didn't know what that meant, and I didn't want to hear it.
Mm. So you wanted to test the waters a little bit.
Good evening, Minister Oliver.
Good evening, Minister
No,
Oliver. You didn't want to test. You wanted to test the
not at that
waters.
age.
Not at that age.
No. I
Ah.
wanted to know who my daddy was.
Oh, you really deep down just wanted to
Yeah,
know. You had that yearning, burning sensation of where this seed come from, where I came from. Oh
exactly.
yeah, I mean, and I get that as a young girl, So at what age did you finally get to meet your dad to find, about who this man was?
Well, I always knew him. I always knew about my father because I would spend summers with his mother, my grandmother.
Okay.
And so I knew my biological father family. So I always knew who he was, but he wasn't never around that much.
Mm-hmm,
Come
mm-hmm.
around and make promises of buying a bicycle or just make promises that he never kept. So I always did know him.
Oh, okay, okay,
Hmm.
okay. So when did you finally get to actually go, and live with your dad, actually be, spend, more quality time with him?
I spent time with him, but it wasn't really what you want to say quality time. I remember being about 6 years old, and he was married.
Right.
And I went to spend the night with him and his wife. And that was the first time I felt an unusual touch at 6 years old. It was a touch that I'll never forget. And
Wow.
I really wasn't sure what it meant, but I kind of shrugged it off. But yeah, I would spend time with him often.
Okay, so you realize that the very first time your dad touched you, you felt like it was very inappropriate, but you just wasn't sure, like, so well, how old were you when he, molested you? He did the actual
Well, I was
molestation.
6 years old with the first test, and at 15, um, I went with him. Kind of ran away from my sheltered life,
Mm-hmm.
childhood life. Listen, I know y'all are watching, and we want to extend your questions and your comments. And I thank you for your comment. Every girl wants a loving relationship with their dad.
With their
Yes,
dad,
Michelle.
yes, yes, Miss
Yeah.
Michelle, yeah.
And so when I was 15, that I was getting a little older and I was inquiring more. So when he came around, I did leave with him
Mm,
and not expecting that he was going to molest me. Um,
mm.
and so, yeah, I was 15 years old and he took advantage of me. Yes, he did at 15.
Wow,
And
wow.
some people might say that age is like you're old enough to understand and know, but 15 is still young. And
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're being sheltered, I was
Right,
really
right, right.
sheltered, spoiled, living on the army base. I really didn't know anything about sex or life.
Mm-hmm. So, what did he say to you after he molested you? Like, what was the conversation between you and him like after that happened?
Well, he saw that I was really upset and I was crying, and he told me that it was normal,
Right.
that he used the Bible, Genesis chapter 19.
Wow.
Yes, where Lot's and his daughters,
Mm,
well, the daughters got Lot drunk, and the
wow.
first daughter slept with him, the second daughter, just because they had ran, and Lot's wife got looked back. Y'all know the story of
Wow.
Lot and his wife, and that's the story that was embedded in my mind. He used that brainwashing scripture to tell me there was nothing wrong with what just happened.
Wow.
No, I wasn't expecting that at all, Minister Oliver. Not at all.
Wow. Yeah, she said you wouldn't expect that, right?
No.
Yeah, yeah. Like what daughter would? Like, I mean, my daddy, he's supposed to be the first man that tell you, you're beautiful, you
Good evening.
to show you how to, respect you, and how a man's supposed to respect you and cherish you, and and treat you, but never in a million years, would you think that your daddy would touch you inappropriately. Wow, wow.
Here we
So was he divorced at the time? We have a question from Gwen Washington. Was he divorced at the time you were with him at 25? And if not, was his wife or anyone else aware of this happening? That this was happening?
25, that age, like getting to that, leading up to that age, at
Mm-hmm.
15, and like you said, Dr. Hawkins, I
Mm-hmm.
was expecting to be, told stay in school,
Right, right.
don't have sex,
Right, right, right.
don't do drugs. When he was
Mm-hmm.
giving me drugs,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I
Wow.
learned about drugs. Never knew
Right.
anything about drugs. And I often say it's like when a wife is being abused by her husband,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. She meant to say at 15. Where was
Okay.
he divorced at the time you were with him at 15?
Okay.
I'm not sure. He kind of kept a lot of secrets. He kept
Right.
women around just to try to cover up what it was that he
Mm-hmm.
was doing. So I'm
Right.
not really sure if he was divorced. I don't think he was. And I think that he was a bigamist and was
Wow.
married more than one woman from different
Wow.
states. So yeah, I mean, when you get a certain age, people think that you're supposed to know better,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Right.
And those thoughts came in, of course, like this, something's wrong with this. Of course, those
Yeah.
thoughts are going to come and enter into my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like when a wife is being abused by a husband, a spouse is being abused by their husband.
Right.
And my problem I had was called what they call a Stockholm syndrome, where
Mm.
I was more or less wanting to protect him.
Right. Right.
and and more or less I didn't want to accept it, that this was
Mm,
really happening to me.
right. Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Wow. So, Dr. Deborah Davis, I mean, you live with your mom, and she was a good mom, and she tried to protect you. But you at that age, you didn't understand. You just all you know was you needed your father. You wanted your father. I'm gonna get to your question, Valerie. Yeah, let's just ask Valerie's question first. Where was your mother when that happened at 15? Did you have a relationship with her?
My
So I'm glad she asked that question, because that would have been my next question. Did you share with your mother what happened to you?
That's a good question. I like that question because um, I ran away and I
Mm,
was wayward at that age.
wow.
And so I didn't want to hear anything that what my mother was saying. My
Mm,
mother was a good mother. She was a
wow.
stay-at-home mom. I
Wow.
was spoiled, and I had a loving mother. And
Wow.
if you're going to be wayward and you're going to be running, and she tried all she could to tell me don't go and don't, but I'm got my own big head, I'm going to do what I want to do,
Right.
and my mother's very understanding and loving, and we are very, very close.
Mm,
And before I wrote the book, I let my mother read the manuscript. I
mm,
didn't want to just publish all of this without her
right.
knowing everything about what had happened.
Right. Wow. Wow. So what was her reaction when she read before you published it? What was her reaction?
Well, of course, there's a lot in the book that anybody that knows me,
Mm-hmm,
right,
mm-hmm.
they would be shocked, they would be sad. Portions in the book, people would cry. You
Right.
know,
Right. Right. Right.
there's so much in there that she said it's a lot. It was a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because after you get to a certain age, everybody believes at a certain age you're supposed to run, tell, and know better.
Right. So Sharon, one of the listeners, said the majority of the time, most don't know that they're being manipulated or abused.
I like
Is
that.
that
I
true?
like that.
Like, yeah, yeah.
It's a bit like it's if this is somebody I'm looking up to and
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for love,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're telling me this is okay. It's in
Right.
the Bible. And I saw the Bible at my grandmother's house all the time.
Right. 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 Right.
So I'm thinking, well, this it must be okay if he's telling me that this is okay. But of course, you do have that insight of something's wrong, that this is wrong. There's
Right.
always that feeling that this is wrong, you
Right.
know. And then it became normal. It
Mm.
became like a normal thing that
Wow.
where I felt that I didn't want to be alone in this world.
Right.
If I turn him in, or if I tell him, then I'm going to be in this world alone.
Right. Oh, wow. 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 Wow.
Oh, this is a good one right here.
Did you think the same thing happened to your father? Ooh,
That's a
Dr.
good question.
Scenario. Very good. Very
Let
good
me.
question. Because a
I,
lot of times I hear that the abusers, something did happen to them prior to. That's the
mm-hmm,
reason why they do these things. Yeah.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
Well, my father. I don't know if that happened, but I know that he was abused by his stepfather, and that he ran
Mm.
away from home. I think he was like 13.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
he lived a very rough life. But I
Wow.
don't make excuses for that part right there,
Absolutely. Right. Right. Right.
because as adults, we know what's better for children.
Right. Right. Right.
And we know that hurt people as well too.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Hmm.
So Dee Dee Thomas said, "That's a good question. Yeah,
Yes.
very good, very good."
Hmm.
Um, so Dr. Deborah Davis, I know you said you had a yearning, I mean, sensation, does that you a burning sensation that you really wanted to just meet your dad. Like, was that something that you was feeling? Because you said your stepdad was very good to you. So it wasn't like a lack of man that daddy in the home. Um, were you desiring at 15, to date? Did that bring
Well,
on this?
no, not at that age. At 15, no, not desiring to date. Of course, you want to have a boyfriend or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be. But the thing of it is, this is daddy. This is my father. I wanted to spend time with my father who was absent from my life. I
Mm.
knew that my stepfather was not my real father, although he was the best father
Right,
that I
right.
could have. Also, my grandfather was I called my grandfather daddy
Mm.
because he
Right.
was such a good father.
Okay,
Hey,
okay.
Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. Michelle says, is it that you wanted the love you received from your stepfather from your father?
Wow.
Very good question, Michelle. Interesting. Yeah,
Mm. Yes, yes, definitely.
that was it.
And at that age, of course, at any age, all we want is to be loved.
Right, 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 right.
So I'm just looking to be loved. I just
But
wanted him to love me.
you was just spoiled. You wanted all the love. You want the love from
I,
your
I
stepdaddy. Yeah,
wasn't getting the
yeah.
spoiled part from him, but I was getting it from my
Okay.
mother, my
Your mother
grandmother, my
got it.
grandfather, but not from him.
Oh God.
No.
Now I
Hmm.
understand. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so let's just go on to the next question I have for you.
Hmm.
What was the breaking point? Like when did you feel like you needed to be free? Like you was ready to be free from all of this?
So years went by. And I think about, that's one of the harder questions for me is why did I let it go on for so long?
Yeah.
But after I had developed this lifestyle,
Right.
what was invested in me, the drugs, the drinking, the
Right, right.
running, the everything that he was teaching me that was invested. I didn't feel worthy. I
Right,
felt
right.
that's where the shame and guilt was like, this my fault, you know?
Right.
And I was too ashamed to tell anyone.
Right.
And I didn't want him to get into trouble. And I thought I was going to get into trouble. So the breaking point for me is where the devil comes in my book.
Mm.
My daddy, the devil, and me,
And
the
me.
devil. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, let's hear about that.
Yeah. I was working in assistant living, and it was miles away from where we were staying. And I saw him, and I had the car. So
Right.
there was no way for him to get there. And I saw him piercing through the window.
Mm.
So I don't know how he got there, how he got that far.
Right, 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 right.
But when I saw that, I saw the devil. I saw the image of the devil. I mean, for real, that is a
Wow.
scary
Wow.
sight.
Wow.
It frightened me so bad that I didn't never want to see him. I wanted to get away. So
Mm.
I concocted a plan with the director of nursing at that place for me to leave.
Wow. 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 At that point, did you feel like let's get to Katrina O'Neill's question, then I'll ask my question.
Mhm.
Okay, so she has more like a comment. No, they are very manipulative when they know you are seeking
Seeking
love
love from
from
them.
them or seeking a
Mhm.
missing father or one. Yep, yep, not around for a year. I understand
Abusers,
your whole
abusers.
story. Yeah,
Yes.
yep, 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 yep.
Mhm.
I understand. Yeah. And Minister Michelle says there is no one like dad. I know, right, Michelle?
Mhm.
Just wanted the perks of being daddy's little. Yep,
Mhm.
exactly.
Mhm.
Every little
Oh,
girl.
I like that, and didn't
Yeah,
want
and
dad to
didn't want
become
dad to
disappointed.
become
Mhm.
disappointed in
Mhm.
her. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's true. I was a daddy's girl until my daddy passed away. My mom and dad were married
Mhm. Mhm.
and over 50 years, and they both died in the same year.
Oh my
But
goodness.
my dad used to tell me that I was God's gift to the world.
Mm.
So I did not have the same experience, but I do know of a few women, in my circle who have experienced that.
Yes.
And it's very,
Yes.
it's something that never goes away. Like you always going to stay in your mind even when you're dating. So and that's what I wanted to ask you, Dr. Deborah, because you was married before. So how did that, the marriage, how did that play a part in your marriage, you know, when you got married in your sexual life?
No, it didn't really play a part. It wasn't anything that hindered my love for my husband, or
Okay.
I had overcome after I had wrote my book.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
had overcome a lot of issues,
Okay.
men, and my ex-husband. He knew everything. I never kept it a secret with anyone,
Okay. Okay.
and he knew everything about what was going on in my life because I explained it. And the helping situation that got me over was writing my book, My Daddy, the Devil, and Me.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
and that helped me to get free
Wow.
from the issues, the abuse, the guilt, the shame.
Wow.
And that's when the forgiveness came in.
Wow.
I
Well,
wanted to get to that, but I know you had another question before the forgiveness. So, um,
yeah, yeah. Well, I got another question, but I just want, just because this book is so amazing. Okay, Dr. Tenario says, how was your relationship with your other woman in your father's life, the other woman in your father's life? How was that? Yeah, how was that?
they hated me, of course,
Wow. Wow.
because he spent the majority of time with me.
Mm.
And he really didn't care if they knew or not.
Right,
They
right.
had to accept me.
And then they must have known something. They
Oh,
had to
they
have.
did. They did.
Wow, wow, wow. And you mentioned your dad. Your dad was in love with you. Like when you think about being in love is it's like a relationship between, a man and a woman that God ordains. But for your dad to say he was in love with you, like how did that play out in your head?
Well, Dr. Hawkins, that was difficult because, like, I was looking for love.
Right.
So I accepted that fact that he said
Oh,
that he was in
gotcha.
love with me,
Wow, wow, wow.
because he did tell me that he had more love for me as a woman than as a daughter, and
Mm.
that he couldn't help it
And you didn't think
feeling that way.
anything wrong with that?
Of course I did.
Okay,
I
okay.
knew it was wrong at that
Gotcha.
time,
God, you just
during that
accepted.
time. But
Yeah, yeah.
after it had grew on me for so long, I just wallowed in it and
Wow.
accepted it, that this is my fate. This is what I'm here for. This is the only life I know.
Right, right,
And
right.
then also with him telling me nobody's never going to love you but me.
Mm,
You're
mm.
ugly. You'll never be married. You'll never have
Oh,
children.
wow, wow.
Oh
He
yeah, I believed all of
manipulated.
that. Yeah,
Wow, wow,
I
wow,
believed
wow,
every bit of it.
wow, wow.
So that was
This,
like, I'm feeling like, if that's what is the truth about me, then I'm going to be alone in this world if I leave this situation.
wow, wow, wow. Well, Dr. Deborah Davis, I'm so glad I had a chance to like really to get to meet you. And I've known you for years now, and you have been thriving and just like, just doing your
Thank
thing,
you.
growing, some amazing things. So Michelle Pebbles said, is your father alive today? That was gonna be my next question, Michelle. Where's your father
I
today?
know
And
everybody
if
was waiting for
so,
that
how
one.
has the past affected your relationship today? So yeah, that was gonna be my next question.
Well, so last year he became ill, and he went to the hospital and ended up in a nursing home. And I had the pleasure of making sure that they were taking good care of him.
Wow. Wow.
I called 2 or 3 times a day to make sure they were turning him, that they were doing everything in their power to make sure that he was being taken care of.
Mm.
Because after I had forgiven him and forgave myself, I hated the things that he had did to me, but I never stopped loving my father.
Wow. Wow.
And so I wanted to make sure everything was done properly.
Wow.
And my father died in December, this past December 17th, passed away in a nursing home. And, I never even really grieved.
Wow.
No, I didn't grieve. I was sad, but I didn't grieve. I didn't cry
Wow.
because I had the opportunity to do a FaceTime with him before he died because he never told me I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. Wow.
He never said those words. I apologize. I gave him every opportunity to
Wow.
apologize to me. Just say, I'm sorry, daughter.
Wow.
So he never, ever apologized. But on that FaceTime video, he said something profound that made me feel as though this is his way of saying, I'm sorry.
Mm.
Because a blessing came at the end. Now, I can't tell y'all what the blessing was. I don't need
Yeah.
no stalkers.
He didn't, your dad, what I'm hearing is that he didn't know how to say I'm sorry
Thank
verbally.
you.
Yeah, yeah. He just, it just didn't have it in him, you know.
Oh no, that's sorry.
And
Thank
they
you,
say you just
Valerie.
can't get what a person don't have, you know. You just can't get for what they don't have in them, you know. You can't get it, you know.
That's
So,
right.
but I just truly, yeah, some Michelle Pebble said that's God. Yeah,
Yes.
thank God, Dr. Deborah Davis, you're here with us to share the story. You're surviving. You're just moving and shaking, and that's nothing but God. And so I want you, Dr. Deborah Davis, because they need to get this book. This book is just like every household need to get it, because you know what? It's so many stories out there like yours that's hidden, and people are afraid to come out, but you are brave enough to come out,
Oh
and that's
yeah.
nothing but God. Thank God for
Hmm.
that. So share with the listeners where they can get your book.
So Miss Washington said, "Did you ever address
That's
the
just the
issue
issue.
with
With
him? Did you ask him why?"
okay,
Mm,
you want to answer that question?
I did. I
Okay.
did. I did ask him why, but of course he blamed me.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah, he would turn it on me and tell me that it wasn't his fault; it was my fault.
Wow.
And I just would look at him and disbelief, you know. And there were times that, hello, Miss Allah. There were times when I wanted to kill my father,
Wow. Wow.
and I was going to kill him. It's in the book,
Thank
you
God
know.
you did not. Thank God you
But
did.
here's what's ironic about that. At that time, I wanted my father dead, but
Mm.
not the lover dead.
Oh, that's woo.
That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother wow.
I
Wow.
wanted to shoot that man that was supposed to be my father,
We don't have enough time for you to
but
indulge
I
in that.
didn't
Oh my
want
God.
to, because I was addicted at that time, because that's all I knew.
Wow.
That's all I knew.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
all I knew. I knew nothing else.
Wow. We need a part two. I'm sorry, y'all. So thank God for forgiveness. Yes, Dr. Tenaria.
Oh,
Thank God.
forgiveness is key.
It's
Forgiveness
key.
is
It's
key.
key. That's
The
the only
forgiveness,
reason why you're able to be here and share your story.
the
You know.
forgiveness is for me. The
Mm-hmm.
forgiveness is not for him, but
Right.
the forgiveness is for me. What did she say?
Katrina said, on oh my
Oh,
goodness. He
goodness.
used that as
Yes.
well. Ugly, never going to get married. Yeah, that right, that part.
Uh-huh.
The nevers, right. This is
This
what
is
I
what I
tell
take
people.
for
They are not
my
alone.
God.
People need to hear this story. They really do, Dr. Katrina O'Neill Davis. They really do need to get this story. And I want Dr. Deborah Davis to tell the whole world where they can get this book, because every home need this book. I don't care if you was not molested. You need to put
I'm
this book in your home, especially if listen, there are boys being molested just as well as girls. So
yes.
listen, every home need this book.
Yes, I'm so glad that you all have tuned in tonight. I want to really to share more about my daddy, the devil, and me. I took my book off of Amazon. You still may can get it, but it's very expensive. Don't buy it from Amazon. I have 70 books left. and these are the only books. And so you can inbox me. I can mail them to you. They're $20. And I have a whole box of books here, and I'll sign it and I will mail it to you. I do not mind mailing the book to you. And yeah, so I feel as though out of everything that I went through, if you all saw the YouTube clip that I put on my Facebook page, you'll know that it was a lot more to this. I went to jail, you know, for my because of him. You
Wow.
know, I got a felon because of him. You know, so I don't look like what I've been through. I don't use
You
it.
took that right out of my mouth, Dr. Deborah Davis. I was
I
going to say
don't. I
that.
don't use it for an excuse. I don't play the blame game. You know, I just
Tyler Perry needs to make a movie about your story. Valerie said that. That's right, Valerie. That's right. That's
well, that's
right.
but that's funny because right before the pandemic, there was a few people that put their checks on the table to make a movie out in California. The pandemic hit, so they took their checks back. You know, and then
Uh,
I heard a couple of phone calls after that, but then it just died down, and I didn't hear nothing else
that's
about
okay. The right one in the right time, on God's timing, will pick it up. You're gonna get that call, and you're gonna know it's the right one.
But
Because
you know
God,
what?
this can't get into anybody's hand. This is the lifetime story, Dr. Denario. Right, Dr. Denario.
Well, you know, God had told the reason I came out to do this interview tonight
Yes.
because I had put the book on the shelf because God had told me to focus on the church beyond the walls, right?
Right.
And so I did. And then he said,
Now's the time.
now is the time that
Wow.
I want you to come out with this interview.
Wow.
And so I try my best to be obedient.
Valerie said it's coming in Jesus' name.
I,
Amen, Valerie.
I claim it.
I'm in agreement with you. Yes.
Well, if it
Yes.
come, you all are invited to the premiere.
We won't miss it for the world. Listen, front row seats, front and center. Listen, I might be on stage.
You will be. You know, you will be.
oh.
I want to thank you all, you know, for coming and listening to my story. If you have any more questions or comments, I'll take a few more questions and comments. Because I don't know when I'm going to come back on talk about the book again. We have several authors lined up.
Yes.
Teresa
Billingsley.
What's the name of her book?
X-rated
Prayers. Wow.
We all know about X-rated.
She says she's driving and listening. That's all right. I like that.
You guys want to be here for this one. This one's going to be another hot one. I'm telling you.
Topics.
Hot topics. That's it. Hot topics.
You know, so a lot of times I just want to say I thank God for my mother because a lot of times it's hard for us to bring these stories out because we want to protect our family members.
Yeah.
And a lot of family members, they don't want you to really delve into these type of stories, you know. And at that time, a lot of it was kept secret. And that's why I think that I held my secret for so long, you know, because a lot of times you're told not to tell anyone when you do tell.
Right.
You know, I was told, well, don't tell anyone else. A lot of times it was swept under the rug. I did tell, but I was in my 20s when I told, and my grandmother, my father's side, knew because he kept me locked in a room in her house.
Wow.
You know, so back then it was like everything was swept under the rug, you know. But I just want to say, because I know that there are girls as well as boys, children, even women that are being abused.
Yes.
The woman, that girl in the basement that inspired my story. That, you know, come on, in the basement for 24 years. Wow. Being raped by her father, impregnated, Then
Mm.
Azizia Kabibi,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
she
yeah,
was molested by her father. She got pregnant 5 times. She's doing well,
yeah, yeah,
doing good.
yeah.
Shout out to Azizia. She's a strong
Yes,
lady,
yes,
you
yes,
know.
yes, yes. Shout out to all our, women and young girls and even boys that was molested and still going strong. Valerie says, when I saw you and your mom at a program in Freehold, you both you both were like girlfriends. Yeah, I love that energy you guys have together. Yes, that's true.
My
Yeah, yeah.
mother is my mother. She was like, Dad, listen, I understand. I know you were brainwashed. You know,
Wow.
that brainwashing is something else, especially when it's coming from somebody that you love.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, yeah.
And it's coming from Bible.
Mm. I
Mhm.
know. Yeah, yeah. How can you?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. Use a word.
Yes, that's exactly what this is. It's my testimony. If you notice on my Facebook page, my testimony is pinned at the top of the page because I will not be ashamed
Right, right, right,
of
right,
this
right.
story, because if I keep silent, that means all of that mess that I went through would be in vain and it would
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah,
be
yeah.
for nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
I refuse to keep quiet. I refuse to be ashamed
Mm.
because I'm grateful to know that God is going to take care of Deborah.
Right, right. And
God,
he already have. You don't look like what you've been through. He brought you out. He brought you out all the way out. I mean, if you didn't share this story, nobody would never know Deborah was locked up. Nobody would never know you were on drugs. Nobody would ever know that you was molested by your dad. Nobody would
how would
ever
they?
know.
Never know.
Never, never,
I
never.
want I wanted to be known. I wanted to people to understand they're not alone. I always thought I was alone.
Hmm.
And Katrina,
So she says, me too, protecting my family, and I was dying on the inside. The secret was destroying me. I had to tell my story.
mhm.
Yes, Katrina, Dr. Katrina, I'm so glad you shared your story as well. Last week you were here. I'm just so glad that you were able to share your story. Dee Dee Thomas says, sis, keep telling your story. Absolutely. Yep. And if she don't, I'm going to tell her for her. How about that?
I had a woman tell me, why you keep telling that story? You need
Mm,
to be quiet. And
yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Now, since she said that,
I'm gonna tell it
let
more. I'm gonna get more loud. I'm gonna get louder.
exactly. And that wasn't even nobody that I really knew that well,
Right, right,
just for
right.
her to come out and say that. Come on.
That's another that was another part of the enemy coming for you.
I'm just going to keep telling it. And if y'all don't know, now you know. Okay. Because I don't hide it. I don't hide it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I walk with my head up because I did ask God.
Mm,
I asked, ooh, that's a good question. I asked God, what am I supposed to do with this story?
right.
Come public with it. You know, it's been on televised, it's been on radio. And God told me, He said, because I want to know, people, they look down their nose at you, they judge you, and they talk about your
So
past and
so
bring
this
it up.
is good,
So
Doctor.
God told me, I'll
Yeah,
tell you what
yeah.
He said. He said, tell it, because they're going to have to stand before me.
Wow,
So I
wow,
welcome the
wow.
judgment all the time.
Wow. So Deb, Dr. Davis, Valerie says, how's your relationship with your sons today? So, I mean, because I know you shared everything with them. They know everything now. So, how did that affect them in any way? Uh,
it was
Dee Dee
very
says she's so inspired by your strength and your will
it,
to keep going.
that was hard for my boys. I have boys.
Wow,
And
wow.
so that was really my oldest son. It was still it's very,
He's
very,
still,
it's
yeah,
hard for those I'm their mother.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's hard when
Boys protect their
you
moms.
want to protect your mother.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I ain't gonna tell you that they might have wanted to kill him. and stuff. I did too.
Right, right.
But
And you got some big, strong boys.
yes,
Michelle Oliver says you have a huge support system as well as the work you do speaks for you. Absolutely.
thank you,
Yeah,
Minister
yeah.
Oliver.
Hmm.
What were you thinking, Miss Billingsley?
What were you thinking, Dr. Teresa Billingsley? You said I was thinking that. What was it?
And then no, 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 my father mother is not still living.
Wow,
Let me
wow.
just say this before we wrap up. Um, which I really don't like to talk about this part because a lot of my cousins on my father's side are not happy about the book, and that is because it was a lot going on in my
Mm,
mother's house. It wasn't just me.
wow.
One of my cousins, my father's brother, impregnated his cousin 12 times.
What?
So
Wow.
he passed away. She passed away. My grandmother, the whole house, it seemed like passed away. And I'm grateful because that could have been me if my grandmother had a favored me instead of my cousin. But
Mm.
she favored her and kept her. And
That house
that's what happened. Yeah.
it was a spirit in that house.
It
It was a
was.
spirit. Dr. Tanara said, Dr. Tanara, you took the word right out of my mouth. I'm telling you, like that was a spirit there. Thank God for his all around protection, Dr. Davis, over your life. Because if I would not have had a chance to meet you had it gone another way. Thank you
Woo,
for
I
your
like
obedience to the will of God, for the direction for your life. You
that.
know, they say some things just have to happen, that just and it's sad but it's not sad, right? Because you're here, you're better, you're stronger, you're
And wiser.
wiser. Yeah, so it had to happen so you can be who you are in God. And I'm telling you, this is just the beginning of the ministry, the blessings, the things that God had for you. Listen, folks. Let me tell y'all, y'all better keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on Dr. Deborah Davis because God got his hands totally on her life. Because guess what? She is a giver, a mover, shaker. She doing
Uh-oh.
some mighty things in the community. She helps so many people. Let me tell you, you want to rub elbows with
Wait
her.
a
You
minute.
want to connect with her. Listen, you want to grab on her like you grabbed on
Wait a
Dr.
minute.
Listen, I'm telling you, the fire
Girl.
is in on and around her and her ministry. I'm telling y'all,
I
this is
mean,
one woman you want to
girl.
get to know. That is it.
You know what? I appreciate that, Dr. Hawkins. I'm grateful. I'm thankful that I know that obedience is better than sacrifice. And
Yeah.
I thank God for how he equips us with the necessary tools
Yeah.
that we need in this life, with
Mhm.
so much that is going on. And yeah, I hope that
Yep.
this
Yep.
story does
Yeah.
save many
Saved
lives.
so many lives. Yep.
Because in telling the story, um, I have run across women that have whispered things in my ear you wouldn't believe. One lady whispered in my ear right up in New York, in the Bronx, at Mother Rose's church. When I did a book signing there, she whispered in my ear. She said, "I hope my first lady's not looking, or the pastor, but my father infected me with AIDS."
Jesus.
Had women slip notes in
Jesus.
my hand you wouldn't believe. And they would say, "I can't tell it. I don't know how you're doing this." And I
Wow.
do it because,
She's in bondage. My God, we're going to pray for her
yes.
because that's bondage. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Oh, thank you, Dee Dee.
Yes, she is an amazing woman of God. Grateful to know her. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I love you.
Dr. Katrina said exactly what Dr. Hawkins is saying. All of that and
I
more.
love all the new
Yeah,
connections,
all of that
ladies.
in a bag of chips, as
You
they
ladies
say.
are the bomb. Thebomb.com. So let me just make announcements before we wrap this up, because I don't want it to be like, oh, I thought the show was only 30 minutes, but now she's doing her.
Listen, hey, you're the host. Look,
Yeah, now it's a
this is
little
your
bit more.
day. So oh well. I love you
I
so
love
much
you
more,
too,
Didi.
darling.
Said, yeah.
I want y'all to know. I want y'all to get the book. Y'all inbox me. The book is $20. You can cash at me or Zelle. And I don't know. I think I'll
What's
just
your cash app? Put it up there. Your Zelle and your cash app.
I think I will do something special.
You're gonna give
With
something away?
money.
Yeah.
You know, I love to give away stuff. I like to. Is that spelled right?
Yeah, Pastor D Deb. No.
No.
Is that how you want to spell it? No, because I
It's
mean,
Pastor Deborah Davis. $sign
okay,
Pastor.
Pastor Deborah. Yeah. It looks like.
And then the Zelle. My Zelle is my phone number.
Okay.
So you can do either or. Inbox
right,
me.
but are you gonna post your number? Everybody don't know your number. Is something you want to post?
No, just if you can do the Zelle, or you can
Cash
do.
App. Okay.
You can inbox me.
Okay.
Inbox me. Anybody that wants to book.
Facebook Messenger. You can Facebook message her in Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook or Instagram Messenger.
Instagram. Okay.
And get the book. And then also I just want to make an announcement. In July the 12th, 2025, we will be doing the honorary doctorate graduation.
Yeah.
Our keynote speaker is the one, the only Dr. Surrender Clark Cole. You don't want to miss it. So if you know anyone, we are already up to 20 graduates, 20 honorees.
Yes.
So if you want to, you can nominate. Woohoo! That's right. You can nominate your person that you believe is doing the work. That is doing the work. And you can nominate them on my website. And my website is www.thechurchbeyondthewalls.com. Get your nominations in.
Get them in. Because, but listen, I was at that first one, and let me tell you,
Yolanda Wade tore it up.
And
he was our keynote speaker.
Yes, it was amazing. I'm telling you, it was like no other.
Can't wait.
You don't want to miss it. Yes, can't wait. Didi said, "Yep."
And get the book. You can't get it off Amazon anymore. I took it off. I took it out of the publisher's hands. So I only have I made 70 in the box. So
are you going to get more published, or is that?
I'm not. This is the end. This is the end. If you don't get it out of this 70, you won't get the book. Really?
Wow.
I'm serious.
Oh wow, Dad!
I'm serious. I'm so serious.
Dad, that book got to go out to nations.
I'm telling you, I got 70 books in my closet.
That book needs to go to other countries. It needs to go to. Telling you,
it was available nationwide when I had it in the publisher's hands. But sometimes God changes the direction of things.
All right. Okay.
And I don't really want to focus on my book. I want to focus more on the ministry. So that's why this is a limited time edition.
Okay.
All right. So with that being said, I done hogged up a lot of time when I only give the authors 30 minutes.
You are the host.
I am the host, right? And you are the co-host.
That's it. Right. This is a special edition.
Special edition. So if you don't have the book, inbox me, get the book. And like I said, I'll mail it to you.
Okay.
So I'll go down to the post office when I get a few, and I will mail the books to you. And these are limited editions of My Daddy, the Devil, and Me. I have 70 books here, and that's the end of the story.
You definitely want to get your copy.
I'm not going to have any more printed. I'm going to be done.
And what's the price again, Dr.?
They're $20.
Okay.
And the proceeds will probably go to the Winter Wonderland. We are having the Winter Wonderland. It's going to be on 3rd and at Mount Carmel School. December the 15th, we'll be there giving away some giveaways, some gloves, some hats. And so if you have any children in need, send them down to Mount Carmel on 3rd, December the 15th. The Church Beyond the Walls will be down there with a host of other sponsors giving away some things, some prizes, some gifts for the children.
That sounds exciting.
Yes, we will be there. We
Come
will
out
be there.
that day.
We
Yes.
definitely, we do. I think this will be our 4th year with the Winter Wonderland with the Asbury
Nice.
Park Housing Authority.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting. Yeah.
So
Well, this has been a wonderful interview. It's so wonderful. We don't even want to we don't want to shut it down. We don't want to go. We don't want to, right, guys?
it's
But
hard,
we gotta
guys.
go. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Thank
Dr.
you. Thank
Canales
you,
said,
Dr.
yeah.
Smith.
Yeah. But we gotta go. Sorry, guys. But you know what? Guess what? Next week, same time, same station,
We
X-rated.
will have.
Teresa Billingsley, X-rated prayers.
I like the name of that book, X-rated
Yeah.
prayer. I got to get my book.
Gotta get your book.
I got
Gotta
to connect with Teresa to see how to get the book so I can at least have my copy. You know, I have a whole lot of books, y'all, from 2020 when we first started the book club. I can open a bookstore.
Hey, listen, that may be your next project that God has for
I
you.
can open a bookstore for real.
Maybe
But
your
we
next-
are supporting Black authors, not only Black authors. It doesn't matter your ethnicity.
That's just
We
the way
are
you started.
supporters of authors. You can go on the Supporting Black Authors book club page. You can post your book. You can post your videos. You're welcome to post on the page. We want to support you. And if you have anyone that you think would be a good candidate to be interviewed on the Supporting Black Authors book club, let us know. Because we don't try to look over anyone. We want to give everyone an opportunity to come on and share their
story.
And Dr. Angela Beth Williams Hawkins, she is an author of a couple books. And we definitely want to support. And there's another book coming out. Look,
The Waiting Game.
What is it?
Daddy's Girls, The Waiting Game, which is about relationships. 8 authors sharing their story on waiting on the mate that God has for them. And we have a few of them in here that may be similar to your story, Dr. Davis. So you'll get a chance to come. We'll get a chance to come on and you can interview us. So I'm excited about that.
We definitely gonna have to get y'all girls on. We got to figure out. We might have to go do Zoom to StreamYard because it's how many of you? 8?
8, yes.
Okay, and if you like, you can share that little sneak peek of something new coming up.
Oh yeah. So we have another one coming out. Oh my God, this is 14 of us.
Woo!
Yeah. And thanks, Dr. Deborah Davis, for being a contributor. The plug, she was amazing, different shades of a mother.
Woo!
Deep, very deep. I'm telling y'all gonna want to get that book. We are expected the end of November, right before the holidays, but you'll hear more about it. Just wanted to let y'all know, just give y'all a little bit of what's coming.
The book launch.
But I
love it. I love you ladies. Listen, I love the new connections with all you beautiful, amazing, loving women. It's so good to be united with the real diamonds in the rough, real women that love genuinely, that have your back genuinely. So it's such a good thing to have been connected with you, Dr. Hawkins. I love your energy. I love Dr. Drummond Smith. I love you, Katrina O'Neal Davis. I love you, Dee Dee Thomas. I love you. I love you. I love the way that y'all support each other. That's what it's all about.
That's what it's about.
We need to help one another. And it's okay if you feel like you're pouring and no one never comes and support the person you're pouring into, and you're constantly supporting, but they
Right.
never support. That's
Right.
okay. That's fine. Just keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
Just keep doing it,
Keep
because the
doing it.
blessings just gonna keep on coming down.
Keep on coming.
I'm a witness.
Yes. Yes.
I love you too. We got, you know what? Oh, that is Michelle.
Michelle
And
Pebbles.
yes, Michelle Pebbles. And I love her. She took good care of me when I was in the county.
Oh.
See, I'll tell it.
Katrina said she loved you too, Dr. Davis.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, ladies, so much. Look, we did a whole hour. Y'all know that ain't fair. If I ain't giving Teresa an hour next week. It depends on where the Holy Ghost leads us, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
we're going to wrap it up. We got YouTube lit up, Facebook lit up. Yes.
Everybody lit up.
Everybody. Been a beautiful thing. And if you guys did have any more questions, or somebody wants to connect with me, if you have events coming up, if you want speaking engagements, whatever the case may be, you can always inbox me, and I will be glad to take your calls and your messages. And again, you can get the book. Just inbox me and I'll mail it to you. It's $20. You can do Zelle or you can do Cash App. We thank you so much. Dr. Hawkins, is there anything that you would like to say before we wrap this up?
I just want to say thank you all to the listeners. Thank you for your questions, your comments. You are just an amazing audience. Thank you for always coming on. Dr. Tanaria, you are an amazing woman. Love you to the core. Thank you, Dr. Katrina Davis. All of you women, beautiful women. Just keep your eyes on Dr. Deborah Davis, because when I tell you, within this next 3-4 months, honey, let me tell y'all, it's going to be, yes, an explosion.
Yes.
And I'm going to be a part of that. So,
yes, yes.
So get ready. That's all I'm going to
I'll be posting, y'all. Follow my page, and then you can always inbox me and your nominees. Make sure you get your nominees. They're coming in. They're coming in, you know. So I think we have gonna do, if we can do 50, that would be great. We up to 20. So there's still 30.
Oh, we'll get it. We're gonna get it.
We're gonna get that.
We're gonna
no
get
problem.
It. No problem.
But so y'all better hurry up and get y'all in. You know what I'm saying? And if you did not know, you can go on the page and you can see last year's graduation with Dr. Jalinda Wade, Mama Wade of the NBA star Dwayne Wade, gave the keynote speaking, and ordinary people doing extraordinary things. See, it's just some things you just don't forget.
You don't forget. Don't forget.
So
and Mama Wade got a book too, don't she?
Oh yeah. We're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna say, although it's hard, we're gonna
have been real.
It's been real.
Y'all ain't gotta go, but you gotta get off of this channel.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, thank you, Dr. Davis. Everybody gonna be doctors around here.
Right, exactly.
You know, doctors, ministers, pastors,
evangelists, apostles, prophetess.
It's time, you know.
It's time.
So we want to thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Supporting Black Authors Book Club. And if you missed the live, go back and listen to the pre-recording, and you will be blessed. And if you have any other questions, feel free to inbox me, and we will see you again on next week, same time, same place. And we'll have Teresa Billingsley, Dr. Teresa Billingsley. Doctor. Teresa Billingsley. She will be our author on next Wednesday. And the name of her book is
X-rated prayer.
Woo! That is some title there. I can't wait.
Yes.
I can't wait. Well, it has been grand. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I really don't want to go. I love you ladies to life. Until next week, we'll see you then. Have a good night.